Greetings and welcome back to the Rack. Today we're going to take a look at this. So we've got more seeded randomness, my favourite topic, but something a little different today. If you notice, we have some new modules to play with. So I've been having a go at making my own module. And I've come up with this idea of Datawave, and it's building upon the seeded randomness stuff we've looked at recently. And basically, I've tried to consolidate a few functions into one module that is hopefully interesting and potentially useful. So let's get back to the start. Let's delete everything, and I'm just going to pop this module in, and we'll take a look at it. Got a nice wavy pattern on there. And it can be used as a kind of randomized LFO. It can be used as a sequencer. It can be used for adding jitter and all sorts of things. And it has a control voltage output. So the first thing we could look at doing is let's just put in a VCO, and I'm just going to put in the wavetable, and I'm going to take the control voltage out and stick that straight into the pitch on this module. And then we'll take the output from the wavetable, and I'm just going to go to the main output. And what's cool about the main output is if you only put one signal in on the left, i.e. mono, as it says on the label here, it actually just mirrors it and gives you a kind of pseudo stereo output. So if you haven't got a stereo signal, that's not a problem. So there we go. We've just got oscillator there, and we need to clock this. So it won't output anything unless you clock it. So I'm going to just search for clock, pick my nice BPM clock, and I'll probably just take the 16th note output into the clock. And then Datawave will start outputting a control voltage. So, yep, I can just change the clock and then basic stuff. So it's very similar to just a standard random number generator at this point, or similar to the sort of thing you can do with a sample and hold. Hot chocolate, nice. But what we can do is we can, we've got these offset and scale controls. So if I just play with them. So if we pull the scale all the way down, then we have nothing coming out. It doesn't, the control voltage doesn't move. And we can just pop a little bit up. And what we could do is we could right mouse button click, and if we type in 1, for example, then because we have because we're connected to the pitch input, which is 1 volt per octave, with a scale of 1. We're essentially covering a range of 1 octave with the control voltage now. Nice. And we can also offset it as well. So if we put 1, be an octave, 2, another octave, 4, another octave. So the idea is, you have this stream of random values, a stream of data, and then you can kind of scale it and offset it to position it in terms of where you want to control. It could be pitch, or you could also use it for controlling the position of the wavetable or something like this. And then the next thing we've got is a slew rate control. So that just kind of limits how quickly the values can change. And this is where you're kind of getting into this LFO territory. It could be quite useful. So a little bit gives you a kind of a little pitch bend thing, a bit like a portamento control. And you just, if you turn it down to 0, it's off. And also we've got this nice blue button here. Ooh, shiny. And if you press that, it multiplies the slew rate control by 10. So it's basically 10 times as much. And that can be useful for much slower, if we were to change, for example, every beat. Let's turn the slew rate down to 0. I guess we could put it into position as well, and then you can sort of see the values suddenly changing. And then as we add to... So it's like it becomes like an LFO, and it's kind of moving from one arbitrary point to the next. Hence Datawave, because it's kind of like a wave shape. But what you can also do is you can use the seed control here. So what we could do is every bar we reset the or we reseed it or reset the sequence. And that allows us to create a kind of phrase. And then we change the seed. And we get a variation. And instead of manually changing the seed, we can use this gen control here. So if we use the bar input, you can see that every time the bar comes around, the seed changes. You can see the knob moving. So what we could do is maybe take the beat and reset the sequence on every beat. And then every bar, we can generate a new sequence. So this is similar to stuff that I've shown before. Let's just pop the tempo right down. I'm going to take the, for the clock, I'm going to take 16th notes. And now we should have... So you can hear that it's doing little short phrases, looping through the phrase a few times, and then it's choosing a new phrase. Yeah, so that could be useful. And what we can do with it now is we can use a quantize, one of these pitch quantize modules, and we can confine that to a scale. So I could, for example, let's just take the black notes out and just, do something diatonic. And then I'm just gonna take the control voltage from the Datawave. I'm gonna pop it in here and then take the output and put it in the pitch control. If you wanted different length phrases, you would probably need a clock divider, so you've got some more time divisions coming from the clock. But for now, I'm just going to use the bar, the beat, and the 16th note. It's not ideal because we've got quite short phrasing here, but it demonstrates the point. Let's turn the scale down to 1 octave or 1 volt. Okay, and then I'm just going to introduce another one. So we just duplicate. And this one, I'm going to take the bar, pop it in the clock. And then I'm going to take the control voltage out and use that to control the position of the wavetable, so we can adjust the timbre. And what we're going to do is we're going to use the 10 times slew mode. I'm just going to put the offset down and the scale all the way up. Actually, pop the offset up a bit so we don't have just a sine wave. And you can see it's jumping every time we get to the bar. But now we can introduce some slew rate limiting. So I mean, if we turn it maybe halfway, you can see it kind of slowly changing. And if we turn this 10 times gain off, you see it changes quicker. And switch it on again. And we can even introduce it to the pitch. Let's just increase the scale. So there you go, that's Datawave. It's a generative sequencer, and it has like a integrated seed generator, and it has a nice little offset and scale control and a slew rate limiter. Hopefully that's interesting. If you've got any comments or feedback on it, I'd love to know what you think. I'm basically making this for my own purposes because it's sort of how I like to work. I like to get the computer to generate variations on things. So I thought, I'll make a nice little tool that I can use for that. But if anyone has any interest in it, I'd love to know. And there's a possibility in the future that I could make it available for people if that's what people want. I mean, there's already like 20 squillion modules out there, so I don't necessarily need to add to that. But if there's a special interest, then I'm more than happy to share it with people. And I don't know, how do people feel also about learning how to build these modules? If anybody wanted a run through, that could be interesting as well. That's something maybe I could put up on the YouTube channel, and maybe that would be useful as well. So let me know your thoughts, your feelings, and I will see you all in the future.